Today we are looking at doing our medium-term plans, and I always put one about this time of year talking about your medium-term plan, and by that I mean your plan for the next term, your plan for what you're going to be doing over the next term, what lessons you're going to put in, what things you want to teach, how you're going to set it all out. And the reason I do this is because when I started, it was something that I felt like I was expected to know how to do, and when I went into my first job, everyone there thought I would know how to put everything into a plan, and it was something I actually really struggled with. And initially I didn't ask for help, I didn't ask to get someone to show me how to do it. I just kind of struggled on with it, ploughed on, and eventually someone did kind of help me out and we did get it sorted. It was all fine. But it's something that really I should have asked for help, and I should have gone and got help sooner than I did when I was first starting teaching. So I always kind of make one of these videos when I do my medium-term plan for the year, and I try and put it out there for you guys to have a look at. And so if you're starting out teaching, you can kind of see how it's done a little bit. And there are some caveats to it in that every school teaches everything really differently and the layout will be different and that kind of thing. But you can see how I do it, and hopefully it will help you out a little bit too. So if we get into what we actually are talking about today, then let's have a look at my medium-term plan, and you should be able to see that on the screen now. And this is all the lessons that I'm going to be teaching for the term, all the way up till Christmas. And it might not make a lot of sense to you, and if I quickly flick down through different things, you can see some things that aren't normally on there. And I am doing this a little bit differently this year, which is another reason why I've made this video. And you can see I've also not quite finished bits of it because there's some stuff I need to check when I get back into work, which I'm going back in this week. It's that time of year again. I'm going back into work this week, which we've got 2 inset days on a Thursday and a Friday this year. So yeah, we'll be back in and I'll check those bits. Like you can see, P's blank every single week. But I'm going to go through what all this means and how I've laid it out. And then I'll go through the things I've thought about but I've not necessarily put on here as well, because there's some stuff that I know will change in this, but I've not put it on there just because I don't know exactly how or what it will be. So at the top, you've got the trip we're going on, and we're going to hopefully have a look at going to the Science Media Museum. Again, I've not booked it yet, but I'm going to book it for near the end of the term, sometime in December, as a nice trip at the end of the term, because our topic this year is dynamic dynasties, and that's all about ancient China, which I've looked all summer, and it's very, very hard to find a trip to do with ancient China. There just isn't really anything that's too interesting, but they've got a really cool trip to do with a bit of space, and one of our topics near the end of the term is all about space and the Earth and that kind of thing. So yeah, we'll have a nice trip in our kind of sciencey week that we're going to do, and that's something that I'm doing a lot of this year compared to previous years. So before now, I've always tried to teach a little bit of everything every single week. So in 1 week I try and do a bit of history, a bit of MFL, a bit of PSHE, a bit of PE, and it generally works well, but you always end up struggling by the end of the term to get everything in. And so one of the things I spoke to my head about last year and a few other teachers was what are some other ways you can try and fit it in. And one of the things they always said was about trying to block your work together. And that's what I've done this year. So our topic, being all about ancient China, as you can imagine, has got a little bit of geography in it, but it's very, very historical based. There's loads and loads of history lessons. So you can see in every single week, in up till half term, we've got some history lessons. Now, those kind of bits there where it says introductory knowledge, engage lesson 1 and 2, that is talking about the cornerstones curriculum that we use and the lessons off there. And that's where we get the base of the lessons from. But they're the lessons I'm going to teach each week. So I'm going to do engage lessons 3, 4 and 5. But you can see we're not doing any other topic work. We will be doing some PE every week in the afternoon. There will be some music and some handwriting done because that's when I'm off on my PPA, and that's what's done in those lessons along with our tribe time sessions. But every kind of topic-y session we've got for the first half term is going to be history. And we're going to really smash out this unit and get really deeply involved in it. And hopefully by doing that, we can get through all the content, which will be really good because there's loads of stuff to cover. We can get some really good outcomes done, some really good pieces of work done where we've got all week to just focus on doing the piece of work rather than worrying about, oh, we've got to do this and we've got half an hour, we've got to do some Spanish. And then it means the other lessons get their due focus too. Because if I scroll down, all these ones that say they're blocked after half term, what I mean by that is I've done some blocks. So our geography topics, we've got about 2 weeks of geography to do when we come back after half term, and that's history done. Then we're going to do our investigating our world topic and have a look at the world around us in the UK and that kind of thing. After that, we've got some RE, and you can see here I've put in the dates now of when the blocks are in. So PSHE is going to be in week 14. We've got an RE week where we've got all the lessons for our autumn term that we should be covering. We're going to do as one big RE week and have a really good focus on our RE sessions. And all week that week we'll be doing that kind of thing. The next week we'll be doing computing week, and so all our computing sessions that we should be doing this term, we'll be doing in that week, and have a really fun computing week, really technical, gadgety. It's going to be great. And so I'm trying to plan it like that this year. And again, you have to look at your school and how your school works and if that's possible. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think some of these sessions, like doing Spanish, our Spanish sessions, now they're really good and they're really fun and they're really interesting. But they sometimes are one of those sessions where they just get squeezed in at the end of a day or squeezed in between something else. They end up being a bit of a filler. Whereas this way I've done it, and hopefully that means we can have a whole week where everything is dedicated to doing Spanish. We'll do the register in Spanish. We might come in Spanish clothing one day, get some Spanish food in, and the whole week will be dedicated to doing Spanish work in the afternoons. And I think it'll be a really, really fun way of doing it. So that's why we're doing it this year in class, and hopefully it will work, and hopefully it will all go well. Now, everything else that is on here is all our usual stuff. So at the top, we've got some outcomes in books, and that's the type of things that we're trying to get done this term. So I really want to have some scripts done, a motif, landscape painting, that kind of thing. Hopefully that will go well, and I'll fit those in as we do the work. We've got our book, this is called Bronze and Sunflower. It's by someone called Chao Wen-Xuan. I think I pronounced that right. If not, then please do tell me in the comments if you know how to pronounce it correctly. But yeah, I've had a look at it over the summer and just before we finished for the year, and it looks really interesting. I've not done it before, but again, it's all about ancient China, our Chinese topic, and it should be really, really good. We've also got a Kraken Comprehension, which is our comprehension course that we use at school. And again, you can see we do Unit 1 in 1 week. Then the next week we go to reading. So in my first week, we're going to do a comprehension, just getting back into the swing of things. And the week after that, we'll actually start the book and go through pages 1 to 25 over that week. We'll do a little bit of reading every day. And there's always a bit of some questions to answer, that kind of thing with the reading. So that kind of flips from one to the other each week. So the next week we'll go back to Unit 1 and do the assessment part of it. And the next week we'll continue reading the book and so on and so forth. Our Read Write Inc. So this is where they do, in lower years, they do the phonics with Read Write Inc. At our age, so year 5, we do spellings, and I think in our school it's generally the same from year 3 upwards. They do spellings unless they didn't pass their phonics. Check at the end of year 2, in which case they continue doing some phonics as well in that time to catch them up. But yeah, in Read Write Inc, so obviously we'll start with Unit 1, do the first couple of pages over the first week, just do one activity a day, and it's just getting that regular spelling practice in, because spellings are one of those where you can't cheat the system, you can't get around it by not doing it. You've just got to practice the spelling as much as you can, and hopefully you'll get there as quickly as possible. And then same with handwriting. We've just got a unit a week. There's a couple of pages per unit to do, and we'll just do those. Normally we'll do them when they come in from school after dinner as a bit of a calming activity. To say, come on in, sit down, get on your handwriting, and it just kind of brings a nice level to the classroom, nice noise level, nice peace to the classroom before we get started with the rest of our work. So that is the plan for Read Write Inc and handwriting. SPAG, again, we use the Rising Stars spelling grammar books, and so that's mainly our grammar focus. And again, yeah, 1 unit for every 2 weeks. We do half the unit for 1 week, half it again, and the next week again an activity a day, maybe 2 activities a day if we miss a bit. And then English, we're using the Right Stuff. Now I have put videos on here talking about the Right Stuff. I absolutely loved doing it last year. I'm looking forward to this year to having some topics that I've done before and that I can kind of do them again this year and do them a little bit better. Cosmic is one of them that I did last year, and I really enjoyed the book. I really enjoyed writing the story about Cosmic, and so I'm really excited to start with it this year. But it's also quite handy that A, I've done it, so I've got kind of the slides and stuff already created, and B, I can then go back and look at how it went last year and then build on it this year and see how I can change it and make it even better, make it better for the children, better for me to teach. And that's all. I always say this is what part of teaching is. Teaching is just, it's about reflection, it's about re-evaluation, it's about looking at what you've done and doing it better the next time. So yeah, we're going to start with writing a story all about kind of continuing on from where the passage in Cosmic leaves us. So that should be really good. Then mathematics. Maths is new this year in terms, well, maths isn't new this year, but when I've been working at school, we've always followed the same maths scheme. We've always followed active learning. Today we've moved on to White Rose. So this year we're going to be doing White Rose Maths, and I'm really looking forward to trying it out. I've never taught it before. Even on my placements, I've never actually seen White Rose being taught. So I'm hoping it'll be really good. Again, it looks really straightforward. All the teaching slides are there. There's some videos to help the children. There's all sorts of things that hopefully will be really good for them. But we just got to wait and see how it works, wait and see what happens. And if it does work and if they all enjoy it and do well, then brilliant. Hopefully it will, and I'll let you know at some point in the future how it's going. But for now, it's going to be a bit of a trial, see how things go. But yeah, we're starting with the place value unit. We've got steps 1 to 5 to do in the first week, 1 step a week. Now, again, all this is bound to change. So that is all our lessons that we're going to do this year. But it is all bound to change because things come up. At the end of the year, you've got Christmas. Christmas plays take up all sorts of time. You've got Inset Days. You've got Harvest Festival. You've got just trips that we're going to go on. There's all sorts of things that are coming in. So this is never ever a finished document, and I'll go through this every single day, every single week, and highlight off what I've done, highlight off what I've missed, put stuff in, move things around. It's constantly being used. Probably the document I use most throughout the entire term is this one. So don't think just because you've written it down that's when it's going to happen. Be flexible and things will change. But it's handy to have it kind of laid out in front of me, and so I know what I'm aiming for each week, what I'm aiming to get done each week. And hopefully that'll be what does happen as much as possible. Now, we are looking at doing a lot of work this term, and the Christmas term is always a really, really busy one just because everything that goes on and all the work you're going to get started. You've got a lot to get through over the entire year. So hopefully you guys are looking to get ready for it. And if you are starting with your medium term plan and trying to get it set out for the entire term, my best advice would just be do one subject at a time. Work out your timetable first of all, so you know how much time you've got to teach each subject. And then if you've got 5 lessons of English a week, then put in your 5 English lessons for every single week. Once you've got those done, then do the same for maths, do the same for reading, and do one subject at a time until all of a sudden your timetable will be full and you realise that you've got a whole bunch of other lessons you need to try and squeeze in, and that's just what always happens. So don't worry about that. You'll find a way to squeeze them in. Go and ask for some help if you're struggling with it from someone who works in your school, and hopefully your mentor or someone can help you out a little bit more than I can. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's really tricky to get sorted. First of all, it's really tricky to make sure that it's all right, but once you have got it sorted, it's such a valuable thing to have, just to check back every single day, every single week, and say, yeah, I've done that, no need to do that, yeah, need to squeeze that in somewhere else, yeah, need to move that around, and just so you can keep on track of what you've actually taught, because it's a really busy time, but hopefully pretty soon you'll be on top of it and you'll know what you're doing. So thank you for watching this, guys. As always, a new video on a Tuesday, Friday and a Sunday. If you're going back into school this week, then I hope it all goes well. If you're starting your first year as a teacher, then good luck to you, and as always, any questions, stick them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'll see you very soon.